Hi, everybody. November 17, 2019. I'm going to be reading excerpts of this article, The Mind Has No Firewall. It was written by Timothy Thomas, a retired lieutenant colonel, analyst at the Foreign Military Studies Office. He was the head of the Soviet Military Political Affairs Department at the of the U.S. Army. Let me just read the first quote that he leads the article off with. It is completely clear that the state, which is first to create such weapons, will achieve incomparable superiority. And that is a quote from a major in the Russian army. The mind has no firewall against electromagnetic frequencies. Before I begin, I want to once again inform everyone about this website. Oscillatorium, our present exposure to man-made microwaves is about 1,000,000,000,000,000, a 1 followed by 18 zeros. That times the natural exposure to these frequencies, 1,000,000,000,000,000 times greater than our natural exposure to frequencies. Just think about that for a second. This is the environment that has manifested. An environment that is very difficult to maintain health, good health, well-being, and very difficult to have any control over your body and your mind. No joke. So this website is a gallery of images and maps, visual learning tools for the study of unnatural oscillations, non-ionizing electromagnetic fields, and their effects on living tissues and biodiverse systems, smart cities and electromagnetic frequencies, technocracy and technopoly, biosensors and EMFs, data given, taken, stored, sold, cell towers, safe places. So you click on these hyperlinks and it brings you to a tremendous amount of information. Free radical activity and electromagnetic frequencies and mitochondria, electromagnetic frequency and magnetite, electromagnetic frequency and cryptochrome. Okay. The first page also tells you how to use the site. So, and even clicking on smart cities and EMF, tremendous amount of information right here. How about living in a CIA-created surveillance city, CIA smart city, smart building LA, sensors everywhere, dark side of 5G, Internet of Things. When everything is smart, it brings you to articles. So it is a great resource. Research made easy by the folks that have put this incredible site together. Okay. Also, electromagnetic frequencies and the nervous system. A whole lot of study went into this subject right here by militaries, not just the United States military, UK, the Soviets, China. Unfortunately, they're not still studying it. They're using it against us. So, also, a lot of information right here. Interaction of EMF and toxins. So, when you see, well, things like this, a video taken by John Graff, who is in, well, he took this video in Carson, California. Okay. Low spraying of aerosol toxins.
Here we go again, guys. Low-level sprayers. You saw it. I only had it for a second, but you saw them. Look at that. Same consistency as the chemtrails. That's no air show, guys. They're doing low-level spraying.
Low-level spraying. Get those toxins to the people as fast as you can. Well, there's an interaction with those frequencies and the toxins that we are ingesting, not just by breathing, but what we drink, our food, everything has been taken over. Yes, these assaults are very, very real. So, in terms of these electromagnetic frequencies, the number one thing that everybody says, the experts, the doctors, the scientists, the researchers, they all say, reduce your exposure. Now, the exposure to these very dangerous frequencies, well, a whole lot of people can't get away from it. I'm going to play just a few minutes of this video, Searching for a Golden Cage. And I want to thank all of my subscribers for sending along some of this information. Yes, a lot of people are already suffering and have been for years. So, 5G, when this really starts full on, we are going to be seeing an awful lot of people get very, very sick, become disabled, and die. That is the reality that we are living. But many people have already been suffering from these electromagnetic frequencies, from 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G.
As soon as I heard there's a place with no cell phone towers, I was here in 48 hours, and I never left because my health was on the line at that point. More and more people are getting extremely ill from these and are being displaced from their homes. They're calling us Wi-Fi refugees.
It all started a year and a half ago. I would get headaches, chest pains, I was nauseous. I lost everything I worked for. I lost my marriage, my ability to work. I lived in my car for 7 months. I don't dare think about the future. All I can think about right now is trying to find one house without wireless radiation so I can sleep and breathe without pain.
Okay, I will link below to this short video. It's only 13 minutes. Yeah, a lot of people are suffering already and being made to feel as if they're crazy. That's the response that they're getting from a lot of people because this is not recognized in the United States as a disease. Well, that's unfortunate, because other countries have recognized electromagnetic hypersensitivity, and they help those people. Some countries, I can't remember which, but they actually carve out zones, like that area in West Virginia, Green Bank. No cell towers, no Wi-Fi, no nothing. I looked into it actually, but it's very expensive. So this is the only zone in the United States where you can live without these frequencies bombarding you. Now, are they free and clear from all of the frequencies from satellites? They may be, because this is, I believe, a observatory. Let me check it out. Yes, Green Bank Observatory enables leading-edge research at radio wavelengths by offering telescope facility, advanced instrumentation access. And that's why they don't have these frequencies blasting away in this area, because I have no doubt they disrupt their research. So, there's also an awful lot of articles. A town for Wi-Fi refugees. This town lives without cell phones, Wi-Fi. Okay. Daily Star, UK, fears 5G weapon system on UK streets after conspiracist takes apart light. Here we go. Mark Steele, who took apart this lamp, a street lamp, and found an antenna, and it is dangerous, but of course, mainstream media has to present him as a nut job, a crazy person, a conspiracist. When you see these articles about YouTube conspiracists, you can bet that the person in the video is actually speaking the truth, which is not to be spoken. Mainstream media propaganda. That's the official narrative that you have to believe. You can't believe these conspiracists, so they come out attacking them. They come out attacking them, discrediting them. But what Mark Steele is saying is true. It's a 5G weapon system, and antennas are hidden in not just lamps, but all over. It's a class, Adelphi University. 24 students went a full week without their cell phones. It was part of the course requirements. But listen to what these students are saying.
Actually survived. 22 Adelphi University students made it a whole week without their cell phones. As we first told you last week, it was part of a college course intended to break a powerful addiction. CBS 2's Carolyn Gussoff went back today as the students reunited with their beloved phones.
It's old school in Jacob Dannenberg's dorm room. A clock wakes him, handwritten notes remind him, and what's this?
It's just something to keep track of time.
No, it's not 1999. It's an Adelphi University course called Life Unplugged, where students did the unthinkable 1 week ago, handed over their smartphones.
I'm freaking out.
Like my hand is shaking right now.
A bold experiment to recognize today's compulsive relationships with ever-present devices. But 7 days later,
Who's excited they're getting their phone back today?
gone are the nerves and the shakes.
Everything's perfect right now. Having a lot better relationships. It's just a lot more like stress-free environment. no worries about social media.
I think it's really like refreshing and like relaxing. So I was able to fall asleep like a lot easier.
They managed to find their way without GPS.
I just had to take the same route everywhere.
They were more productive.
Doing homework was 100% easier.
I was just more appreciative of everything around me, and like I was more aware.
Like sit at the dinner table and have a conversation. And
Professor Donna Freitas says it's important for everyone to assess their addiction.
Are the conveniences worth it? The fact that no one can focus, that my students can't sleep, they feel bad about themselves because of social media. I mean, the list could just go on and on.
Yeah. Just hoping it's not no.
There you go, Gabe.
Thank you.
But these sweet reunions
yeah, I made it.
went sour quickly as endless notifications piled up.
Oh my god, this is so bad.
I just want to shut it off now.
Students say they're not quite breaking up with their phones, but promise the relationship will change.
I want to like keep that balance and like figure out the healthy relationship.
My screen time's definitely going to go down, and I'm just going to start to appreciate my surroundings more than I usually do, because usually I'm just looking at my screen all the time.
Students say they look forward to living more in the moment with their heads up and more often with their notifications off and do not disturb on. In Garden City, Long Island, Carolyn Gussoff, CBS 2.
So, you might want to do a week without your cell phone. Are you addicted to that cell phone? Are you looking at it all the time? If you are, you may not realize what you have lost. Humanity is being reshaped via this technology. And this technology is creating a very, a life that the young do not know. A life of relating to people. A life of meaning. And a life where you're far more connected to nature than just staring at that phone. You're only connected to the phone. There are some incredible articles that, having gone through this site, I checked out Technocracy, and yes, there are a lot of very good articles, which I will, the web and weaponization of emotions. Hang on for one sec. This article I got through that site, Entertaining Ourselves into Technological Slavery. Invisible Technologies, the World of Technopoly. It's, very long. Do you have the attention span to read it? It's filled with an awful lot of very good information, and it gives an awful lot to think about. Inasmuch as clothes act as our extended skin, today's technology is a replica of our nervous system. Therefore, the production of technique and its content has been so decentralized as to represent our consciousness and behavior. Today's means of communication, which has in the end managed to impose itself on humans, also controls the behavior of man. This then means technology has taken over and is shaping man's attitude and behavior. Do you know if that has happened to you? Are you in control, or is your cell phone in control? Is the technology that you have in control? Technopoly today has taken over to the extent we base our rational and common sense on the feed form television and the internet tweeters and the whole bit. We look for quick knowledge and vast information that one gets from the library, from Google and Wikipedia. Information has replaced knowledge. You know, many talk about how this is progress. Progress? So that kind of, it discourages people from reflective thinking about this technology, already socially engineered, to not question it. It's good, it's good, it's good. But just feeding yourself with information, what's the point? Knowledge takes study, and that takes time. Most people believe that technology is a staunch friend. It makes life easier, cleaner, and longer. Can one ask more from a friend? Second, because of its lengthy, intimate, and inevitable relationship with culture, technology does not invite a close examination of its own consequences. And that is what this course did for these students.
See how long it...
You know, they were invited to think about the technology, to reflect on what it was doing to their lives. And without it, you heard them, life brought in more meaning. They related to people in a better way. That they were relating to their environment. They were appreciating a whole lot more than what was in that cell phone. They slept better. It is the kind of friend that asks for trust and obedience, which most people are inclined to give because its gifts are truly bountiful. But of course, there is a dark side to this friend. Its gifts are not without a heavy cost. Stated in the most dramatic terms, the accusation can be made that the uncontrolled growth of technology destroys the vital sources of our humanity. And I believe that if not all of you, a majority of you see this destruction, witness it, feel it, and live it. It creates a culture without a moral foundation. It undermines certain mental processes and social relationships that make human life worth living. How many articles are there regarding the inability or the difficulty that people are having today, regardless of what generation they're in, having today, meeting friends that they can relate to and have a trusting relationship that's meaningful. It's almost erased today. And this technology has the detrimental effects on all life, humanity, the family, community, everything, has been so rapid that those who have studied the addiction to cell phones, the hit of dopamine when people get a like on their social media page and they're constantly, going back and, did I get another like? There's an addiction because there's literally a chemical electrical process going on in the brain that gives the dopamine hits that make somebody feel good. But when they don't get the likes, it also gives a hit of depression. So we really need to think about this technology and not just accept it as, oh, this is wonderful. Technology in some is both friend and enemy. The most dangerous idea out there is the belief that in peace as well as war, technology will be our savior. Every technology is both a burden and a blessing, not either or, but this and that. And that, yeah, it was really interesting listening to these kids, because what they were talking about was a wisdom that they got within a week of not having that, not staring at that cell phone all the time. They learned that their technology is this and that. And this student said, I now, want that balance. People aren't even realizing how imbalanced they are by staring at that phone all the time. So what I'm going to do, I guess I'll read some of this. It's 26 minutes. I know. My videos are long. The human body, much like a computer, contains myriad data processors. They include, but are not limited to, the chemical, electrical activity of the brain, heart, and peripheral nervous system, the signals sent from the cortex region of the brain to other parts of our body, the tiny hairs in the inner ear that process auditory signals, and the light-sensitive retina and cornea of the eye that process visual activity. We are on the threshold. 1998. We are on the threshold of an era in which these data processors of the human body may be manipulated or debilitated. Examples of unplanned attacks on the body's data processing capability are well documented. Strobe lights have been known to cause epileptic seizures. Not long ago in Japan, children watching television cartoons were subject to pulsating lights that caused seizures in some and made others very sick. Wonder weapons. Our mainstream media, decades ago, they were informing American citizens of this technology, the wonder weapons. And here it is. We are now living that era when they have taken over our body processors, the processing in our mind with electromagnetic frequencies. Do many of you feel debilitated? I venture to say that the answer is going to be yes. Do you know if you're manipulated? That entails knowing who you are. An entirely new weapon or new arsenal of weapons based on devices designed to introduce subliminal messages or to alter the body's psychological and data processing capabilities might be used to incapacitate individuals. These weapons aim to control or alter the psyche or to attack the various sensory and data processing systems of the human organism. In both cases, the goal is to confuse or destroy the signals that normally keep the body in equilibrium. This article examines energy-based weapons, psychotronic weapons, and other developments designed to alter the ability of the human body to process stimuli. I'll start the next video with reading the excerpts that I have carved out in full and go on to Western Insanity and the 5G electromagnetic radiation. All links are below.